Hello. I'd like to start this time by telling you a little story. I drove to the bank. I had my gun. I took my gun inside. I showed my gun to the teller. The teller pressed a secret button. A loud bell rang. I ran away from the bank. A police car followed me. A police officer knocked me to the ground. The police arrested me. I went to jail. Wow. Notice how hard that was to read. Even though it's a story about what I think are exciting events, I'd bet you felt a little bored as you were reading or listening to it. That's because all 11 sentences in this story are pretty much of the same form. What I mean is that this story does not show sentence variety. This is an important subject in this class because it allows you to make paragraphs that a reader will read more easily when you can make sentences that a reader expects to see. So how to create this sentence variety? Well, you can do this in your own work by learning more about the different kinds of sentences and how to construct them. Now, this classification begins with the simple sentence, which contains a single independent clause. For example, the story about my boring bank robbery is made entirely of simple sentences, and you'll notice that each of those simple sentences contains exactly one independent clause. As you progress, you can also make compound sentences, which you do by joining an independent clause to another independent clause. In this way, you can combine sentences to add to their meaning. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. For moving forward, you can also create a complex sentence by combining an independent clause and a dependent clause. This seems probably like a lot of terminology and maybe a little bit confusing, but don't worry. As you continue to practice, as you notice the patterns that emerge when you combine clauses with other clauses in these ways, I think it'll seem more natural to you, and indeed you might, who knows, start having fun. Anything is possible. Now, the sentence variety can be not only fun, but also helpful to your reader in two ways. First of all, you can give your reader a good reading experience. Readers, as you might guess, are people in just the way that you are, and as people they will have reactions and feelings about what you write. Look again at that story about the bank robbery. Feel that boredom, that resistance that you felt. You probably didn't want to hear much more of the story because it was so boring. Your reader can very easily feel the same way. And a reader who is bored is a reader who is not paying attention. So a long string of sentences of the same type can cause your reader to lose track of what you're saying, to not get your idea, to stop reading entirely. And this is not what we want. This is the relationship with our reader that we're trying to avoid. So you can use sentence variety to give your reader a good reading experience, and in that way, help your reader understand your paragraph more easily. Also, when you use sentence variety, you can give your reader extra information. See, a conjunction like and or but or when or because expresses a relationship between two clauses. It explains to your reader what the fact in one clause has to do with the fact in another clause. By letting your reader know what those facts have to do with each other, you can pack the maximum amount of information into a paragraph in a very economical way to show your reader exactly what you're talking about and help your reader get a more accurate idea of what you're trying to say. More information almost always helps a reader. So, I hope that this lecture has helped you think more about how and why you can use sentence variety. As always, Thank you for your time and attention.